Tired of chasing fleeting advice that promises much but delivers little? You've tried the 10-step systems, the morning routines, the hidden hacks, yet the results fade like mist. But what if the real path to extraordinary success was never hidden at all, merely forgotten? For centuries, the world's greatest builders of wealth and empires lived by a handful of timeless truths, ancient proverbs that shaped how they thought, acted, and conquered adversity. These weren't motivational quotes printed on walls. They were codes of life, guarded, practiced, and passed from generation to generation. And somewhere along the way, in the noise of modern life, we lost them. But they never lost their power. In the next few minutes, we'll journey back to the roots of human achievement to rediscover the forgotten wisdom that built kingdoms and corporations alike. Because what if the principles that forged the world's greatest minds could still forge yours? Stay with me, because before this video ends, you'll see success itself through an entirely new lens. Modern culture worships speed. We're told to grind harder, move faster, scale quicker. But ask yourself, how many of those who sprint actually reach the finish line? And more importantly, how many stay there? Every generation believes it has invented success. Yet beneath every modern strategy, the same eternal foundations remain: patience, discipline, clarity of purpose, and mastery of the mind. They're not outdated relics. They are the hidden architecture of every great accomplishment. Think about it. Kings and merchants, philosophers and inventors, men who ruled nations or reshaped industries, were all bound by similar codes. They lived as if success were not something to be chased, but something to be aligned with. They didn't fight the tides, they studied them. The truth is, we live in a world overflowing with new wisdom, that's simply old wisdom repackaged with better marketing. Scroll long enough, and you'll see the same lessons whispered 1,000 different ways. But few truly live them. Because knowing a truth is easy, living it daily is rare. So let me ask you, how many unique hacks for success actually exist today? If you strip away the noise, you'll find the same principles echoing through time. From the teachings of Solomon to the letters of Seneca, from the meditations of Marcus Aurelius to the investment letters of Warren Buffett. Different centuries, different languages, same wisdom, and perhaps that's the first forgotten proverb. There is nothing new under the sun, only wisdom rediscovered by those ready to listen. Picture this: a young merchant in ancient Phoenicia rises before dawn to track the stars, learning the tides that will carry his ships. A scholar in Athens writes by candlelight, crafting words that will shape logic itself. A monk in the East copies a single sentence of wisdom 100 times, embedding it in his soul. And thousands of years later, a modern entrepreneur, staring at a glowing screen past midnight, unknowingly lives by the same silent rule: seek understanding before victory. These are not different stories. They're chapters of the same book, humanity's timeless pursuit of mastery. But somewhere along our digital evolution, we traded depth for speed. We scroll, we skim, we chase the dopamine hit of new knowledge. Yet wisdom, true wisdom, does not chase us. It waits. And only those who slow down long enough to listen ever find it. So here's the tension, the cliff edge we all stand upon. Modern success feels urgent, but ancient success was patient. One builds noise, the other builds legacies. And maybe, just maybe, the reason so many ambitious people burn out isn't a lack of talent or opportunity. It's amnesia. We've forgotten the proverbs that once made men and women unshakable. But you're here now, and that means the echo has reached you. In the next chapter, we'll explore the first of these forgotten truths, a principle so powerful that every empire, fortune, and movement in history was built upon it. It's a lesson buried beneath centuries of distraction, and rediscovering it may just change how you see progress forever. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but few remember the second half of that proverb. They were laying bricks every hour. That's the secret the modern world ignores. Everyone wants the finished empire. Almost no one wants to lay the bricks. We live in a culture addicted to speed, where virality is mistaken for value and attention for achievement. 1 million views in a day looks like success. But ask yourself, what remains when the algorithm forgets you? True builders, the ones history remembers, understood something far deeper. They mastered time. Patience isn't passive. It's power under control. It's choosing to plant seeds while others chase fireworks. It's realizing that greatness is not an event. It's a process. Warren Buffett once called it the snowball principle. Success rolls downhill, slowly at first, then suddenly unstoppable. Each decision, each disciplined day, adds another layer to that growing sphere. He didn't chase the rush of quick profits. He chased the calm of compounding ones. But here's the irony. Patience looks like failure to those addicted to speed. When you're building something that lasts, the early years are silent. The crowd can astamandrans his an order twenties. See the foundation. They only notice the tower once it blocks the sun. So maybe the real test of greatness isn't how fast you rise, but how long you can build without applause. Think about the artists who practiced in obscurity for a decade before the world heard their first note. The entrepreneurs who worked out of garages while everyone laughed. The thinkers who spent years refining one single idea before sharing it. History celebrates their success, but forgets their seasons of silence. And yet, that silence is sacred, because in those unseen hours, character is forged. And patience, not passion, decides who endures the storm. There's a line whispered among the wise, time either exposes your illusions or amplifies your truth. When you operate with patience, time becomes your ally. When you rush, it becomes your judge. So let me ask you, what empire are you building brick by brick? Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's a skill. Maybe it's the discipline to rebuild your life quietly while no one's watching. Whatever it is, resist the noise of comparison. The world glorifies quick wins, but history belongs to those who outlast. And when impatience whispers, "You're falling behind," remember, every hour of steady work is another brick in your Rome. Because the truth is, patience isn't waiting. It's working without the need to be seen. And when you master that, you begin to play the long game. The only game the truly successful ever play. In the next section, we'll step into the most invisible battlefield of all, one that no one escapes, and yet only a few ever conquer. The battlefield of the mind. Because even empires collapse when the mind that built them begins to crumble. Every empire first rose, or fell, inside someone's mind. Before armies marched, before cities burned, before fortunes grew, there was always a single thought that started it all. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. An ancient truth, older than any philosophy degree, yet sharper than every modern self-help phrase combined. Because the greatest war I'll ever fight isn't against the world. It's against the whispers within. Your mind is both the architect and the saboteur. One day it builds skyscrapers of confidence. The next, it floods them with doubt. You wake inspired, ready to conquer. Then a single negative thought corrodes the steel beams of belief. And so begins the silent war that no one sees. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we can't control the wind, only the sail. They didn't chase perfection. They chased perception. Because once you govern your reactions, the world loses its power over you. That's the forgotten discipline, controlling not circumstances, but consciousness. Yet today, discipline feels outdated. We live in the era of emotional indulgence. Every feeling must be expressed, every impulse satisfied. Notifications tug at your focus like invisible chains, and algorithms feed your fears more faithfully than your friends. You no longer guard your mind, you outsource it. But imagine if you reversed that. Imagine becoming the guardian of your inner world again, filtering thoughts like a king controls access to his throne room. Not every idea deserves to sit beside your goals. A growth mindset isn't a cliché. It's rebellion. It's standing at the gates of your mind and declaring, whatever happens outside me, I still choose my response. The strongest people you know aren't the ones who never fall. They are the ones who rise faster each time. Because they understand that failure isn't at the end of a path. It was proof that a path exists. Here's a thought most never hear. The mind that constantly seeks comfort is training itself for mediocrity. But the mind that endures discomfort willingly is preparing for greatness. So how do you train this invisible muscle? Start small. 10 quiet minutes each morning. No phone, no music, just you and your thoughts. Watch them. Don't wrestle them. Notice how often your mind tries to wander into fear or comparison. Then bring it back, like returning a sword to its sheath. Write down the storms instead of sailing through them. When anger rises, ask, what belief beneath this feeling needs correction? When envy whispers, ask, what lesson is this emotion trying to teach me? Awareness dissolves poison faster than denial ever could. Because the truth is, you don't need to conquer the world. You just need to stop letting the world conquer you. The billion-dollar companies, the monumental works of art, the revolutions, all began as a mental choice repeated long enough to become identity. That's what separates distraction from destiny. Every time you master your thoughts, you reclaim territory inside yourself. Every time you pause before reacting, you win another invisible battle. And one day, without fanfare, you'll realize you no longer fight your mind. You lead it. So here's your silent test. When chaos surrounds you, can you still hear your own thoughts? When others panic, can you still act with principle? When comfort calls, can you still choose challenge? Those who can rule far more than companies or nations. They rule themselves. And from self-rule, every other victory flows. Because in the end, mastery of the mind is mastery of fate. And those who win that unseen battle become unstoppable. Not because the world bends to them, but because their spirit no longer breaks beneath it. In the next part, we'll explore another paradox of power. Why the path to expansion often begins with limitation. It's the strange, forgotten law of strategic scarcity. And once you understand it, every constraint in your life will become a catalyst. Necessity, the ancients said, is the mother of invention. And if you look closely, you'll see that every leap of progress, every masterpiece, every breakthrough, was born not from abundance, but from limitation. Scarcity isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. When you have less, you're forced to see more. When the options shrink, creativity expands. And when the path narrows, your focus sharpens like a blade. History remembers the inventors who turned constraints into catalysts. Da Vinci painted with imperfect pigments. Tesla built with failing funding. Steve Jobs limited design to its purest form until simplicity itself became luxury. The less they had, the clearer they thought. Because boundaries don't suffocate brilliance, they shape it. We tend to believe that freedom comes from having more time, more tools, more money. But real freedom begins when you decide, this is enough, and I will make it powerful. Think of the Pareto principle, the ancient ratio hidden inside modern productivity. 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. But here's the secret. Most people never discover which 20% truly matter. They scatter their attention across 1,000 trivial pursuits, wondering why success feels fragmented. The ultra-successful do the opposite. They practice intentional scarcity. They choose fewer goals, fewer distractions, fewer voices, and execute them with surgical focus. In a world drowning in noise, focus itself has become a superpower. Every notification, every open tab, every unnecessary opinion steals a fragment of your destiny. But when you practice digital fasting, turning off, tuning in, your thoughts begin to breathe again. Single tasking is the new sophistication. Saying no is the new abundance. So next time you feel limited, remember this. The very walls closing in are often forming the structure that will hold your greatness. Constraints create clarity, and clarity creates power. Because when you learn to build within limits, you no longer fear them, you use them. And the moment you do, every restriction becomes a resource. In the final part, we'll take everything, patience, mastery, and discipline, and translate it into a personal blueprint. You will see You'll see how to turn these forgotten proverbs into a daily rhythm so powerful it reshapes your destiny. Your future self is already waiting there. Let's meet them. So here we are, at the crossroads where ancient wisdom meets modern ambition. You've seen the echoes of time, the patience of empire builders, the quiet strength of the disciplined mind, and the paradox of power born from scarcity. But wisdom, left unapplied, is just decoration. The question now is, what will you do with it? Because these proverbs aren't theories, they're blueprints. And if you live by them, they don't just change what you achieve, they change who you become. Start here. Choose one truth that struck your heart. Maybe it was patience, the bricklayer's creed. Maybe it was mastery of the mind, the unseen battlefield. Maybe it was the lesson of scarcity, less as the path to more. Pick one and live it for 30 days. Not as an experiment, but as a vow. Write it somewhere you'll see it every morning. Repeat it when the noise of the world tries to pull you back into the rush. Let it become the filter through which you make every decision. You'll notice something subtle but extraordinary. The world begins to bend differently. Time stretches. Distractions shrink. The same tasks that once drained you now refine you. Because you're no longer acting from confusion, you're acting from alignment. This is the compounding effect of forgotten wisdom. Like Buffett's snowball, it starts small, almost invisible. But day after day, thought after thought, it grows until momentum itself begins to carry you. And one day, others will call it luck. They'll say you changed overnight, but you'll know the truth. You were simply faithful to ancient laws long enough to see them bloom. That's the real miracle of discipline. It doesn't create success instantly. It makes success inevitable. Look back for a moment. Every name carved into history followed this pattern. They mastered time instead of chasing it. They guarded their minds instead of indulging them. They embraced limits instead of cursing them. And through it all, they lived by wisdom older than civilization itself. That's not coincidence. That's cause and effect, written by the universe itself. So let this be your reminder. You don't need to find new secrets. You need to remember the old ones, because the same truths that raised empires still whisper today, and they whisper to those who are quiet enough to listen. Maybe that's why you found this message now, not by chance, but by alignment, because somewhere inside you, the ancient echo awakened again. And if you let it guide you, you won't just build success, you'll build something rarer: legacy.